Did you watch the debate? Wow. Yeah, that was the English debate. Awesome. What an awesome showing by Poilievre. He absolutely knocked it out of the park. Poilievre, I was asking my wife, we were both watching it. We watched it with Unacceptable Fringe, who was drinking drinking a whiskey and coke every time they mentioned Trump. Anyway, that was quite funny in its own. But Poilievre, boom, knocked it out of the park. I've got two segments I want to show you that I think we should share. Just keep sharing. Like today, we're going to go and vote. We're going to do our vote today. But I think people who are still on the fence, who are maybe waiting to vote, we should be sharing these two segments to everybody at least that we got from that came out from this debate. First one is when Poilievre sums up, basically everything, and just calls out Carney. And the second one was a little bit before that, is when Blanchet calls out Carney about, well, you'll see.
Mr. Carney, but if I could begin by setting the stage. The choice in this election is, after a lost Liberal decade of rising cost and crime and a falling economy under America's thumb, do we want to elect them to a fourth term? Or do we want to change? Change so that you can afford food and homes. Change so that you can be safe on your street, and change so that your paycheck grows faster than your cost of living. Change with a new Conservative government. Because Mr. Carney is not change. Mr. Carney, in 2020, it was recorded, you began advising Justin Trudeau. It's still on the Liberal Party website today that you are Justin Trudeau's economic advisor. They might want to update your website on that. On June 3rd of 2021, you said that inflation would be a sign of economic progress. And you advised governments, including Justin Trudeau's, your Liberal government, to print money, which led to the worst inflation crisis in a generation. Now, that means that mothers went to bed with empty fridges and empty bank accounts, worried how they'd feed their kids, that seniors worried they'd be evicted from their homes, that young people believed they'd never be able to own a home in the first place. Now, in retrospect, that you look back on the Liberal decisions that you advised Justin Trudeau to take, will you look at the camera in the eye and apologize to the many people who suffered as a result of the inflationary policies that you advised Justin Trudeau to implement?
You know, I said earlier, but I'm going to say it again. I know you want to be running against Justin Trudeau. Justin Trudeau isn't here.
Are you denying you were his economic advisor?
I did not provide any of that advice. I did not provide any of that advice.
It's on the Liberal Party website.
I'm sorry.
Are you accusing your Liberal Party of
Look it up,
lying
guys. Look it
about your
up.
role? Because it says today, you can go to the Liberal Party website now, and it says that you were Justin Trudeau's economic advisor.
The way you judge someone, in my view, is how they act, what they do when they have responsibility. Twice I was a central bank governor. And in both cases, if I may, in both cases when I was responsible for inflation, inflation was less than 2%. I'll add that when I was here responsible for the Bank of Canada, inflation was less than 2%. Our dollar was at parity. That is the kind of success that I can deliver for this country.
Left over from the Conservatives.
And what is at stake here?
You were the economic advisor to Justin Trudeau that gave us the worst inflation that we have had in a generation, because the policies that you implemented and those of the MPs that are still in your ministry.
To the
fellow Canadians,
crisis which
the last 10 years has been about the Liberals. The next 10 years should be about you.
And that's time.
Yeah, when we first moved here in 2008, 2009, the dollar was almost at par. We were worried about whether or not to sell our house because the dollar was at like 98 cents, and we were thinking, oh, it might go up a little bit. That was left over from the Conservative government. Now look at the dollar. It's less than 70 cents under the Liberal government. Anyway, let's have a listen to Blanchet.
Sir Carney, you avoided quite I would say skillfully, the questions of Mr. Singh. But first, let me correct something. In 2008, not so much by your decision, 10 billions of dollars were given to car industry in Ontario, while 60 millions, not billions of dollars, were lent to lumberwood throughout the whole of Canada. I don't believe that's the right way to manage a crisis, since you did not recoup the money from the car industry. Then, you have been the manager of Brookfield. It's supposed to be a green investment fund, but we now know that 50% of the investments of Brookfield is in fossil fuel. It's not so green. You seem to want to support oil and gas industry. That's interesting. You want to support prefab housing, and it's also in the investments of Brookfield, but not in Canada. You want to support nuclear power, smaller reactors, which are more dangerous, by the way, and Brookfield has investments in Westinghouse. You have hidden the money of Brookfield in Bermuda and Cayman Island, $30 billions lost for Canada. You are having your taxes being paid by families, workers, elders in Canada and Quebec instead of paying your own taxes. So I want to know, will you, before the election, reveal all the details of your assets, as Mr. Singh has done, as Mr. Poilievre has done, and as I have done? We have
the only one who hasn't revealed his
under those
assets.
circumstances.
Let's let him answer.
Well, the first thing is, I want to say a word about, I'll say a word about Brookfield. You know, this is a Canadian success story. It is the largest infrastructure investor and developer in the world. It is one of the largest, if not the largest, developer of renewable power in the world. And who benefits from that? That's Canadian pensioners. That's Quebec pensioners.
That's why he hides his
That
profits.
is teachers. That firefighters. It is a series of people, including individuals on this stage, benefit from that. Now, always acted with integrity, served the shareholders of Brookfield when I was there. I have left that. I have followed all the rules well in advance.
So
I have followed all the rules well in advance.
Let's reveal your assets like we all did.
And working for the people of Canada.
What do you own? Why
That is
don't
time,
you tell
gentlemen.
Canadians and
That is
Quebecers
time.
what you own?
Monsieur Blanchet, we're moving on to Mr. Paul.
So it's a bit like the old, why has Poilievre not got his security clearance? Why won't Carney own up to what he owns? Why won't he tell us all his investments? What's going on? Who is in the background? Who is in the background of all the decisions that if this guy gets voted in, he's going to be making decisions to help a certain company like Brookfield, maybe? Could be, allegedly. He could be making decisions to, I don't know, maybe build modular houses that Brookfield make. They could get the contracts. What about heat pumps? It could discount heat pumps maybe that Brookfield make. These are things that Canadians need to know before they make a decision as to who is going to continue running this country for another 4 years. Anyway, if you get a chance to get onto CPAC and watch this debate, and if you're on the fence, watch this debate. This is a defining debate in the history of Canada. It was a good showing for Poilievre. I think the Bloc came out second, Carney third, because Singh has absolutely, Singh talked all over Poilievre while he was, every time Poilievre questioned something about Carney, Singh, he was in there. So you'll see that, and they should have cut Singh's mic off. They should have cut it off because they let him just keep blabbering on. And what is Singh? Singh won't even win his riding. He's a nobody. They'll have no party status, the NDP. They really won't. Anyway, I'm going to get off and, voting today. See you on the next one, guys.